what time it is? No pun intended. Well, maybe. Just a little pun. Anyway, this is the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Let's get started. Good evening, this is Bob, W6CJX, and I'll be your net control operator for tonight's Papa Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Before we get started, let's pause for any emergency or priority traffic. And we'll continue with the net. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time with a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The Papa system is an open membership-supported system in the Southern California area, with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you are a visitor to the Papa system tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll have 45 days of free access to the Papa system. At the end of the guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member and continue to use and be a part of the Papa system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and monthly Papa system nets regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the Papa system Great Outdoor Net. That is true. All right. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. Pretty nice. We had a little bit of rain and showers and clouds and pretended like it was winter or fall. So we'll see if that continues. Now we're supposed to have fire weather, so maybe that was like James Taylor's Fire and Rain. You never know. Maybe I think it had another meeting. Okay, well, let's get into some announcements. We'll get those out of the way. Also, remember, this is the ending of the year for Papa 2024, so if you'd like to make a donation of a substantial amount, actually, it can be used as a deduction on your taxes for this year. You need to consult your tax professional, but other than that, you should be ready to go with that. So let me reset, and we'll do the announcements. Here are the Papa System weekly announcements. The Westside Luncheon will be meeting in person at 11 a.m. on Saturday, November 9th, in our new venue, Sizzler Culver City. Come on out for a chance to meet and visit with your on-air friends. The Sizzler Culver City is located at 5801 Sepulveda Boulevard in Culver City. Inland Empire Breakfast will also be meeting in person on Saturday, November 9th at 9 a.m. at the Mill Creek Cattle Company. Come on out for a chance to meet and visit with your on-air friends. Mill Creek Cattle Company is located at 1874 Mentone Boulevard in Mentone. Ham license testing will be at 8 a.m. To register, please contact Keith, AI6BX at ARRL.net. Papa 2024 Fiesta events. Papa will host 2 celebrations to close out 2024. Our traditional Fiesta Norte in the San Fernando Valley, and Fiesta del Sur in the San Diego area. Fiesta Norte will be on Saturday, December 14th at 11 a.m. at the Sumo Asian Buffet in Woodland Hills. Fiesta del Sur will be Saturday, December 21st at 11 a.m. at Casino del Charro in San Marcos. We will have Fiesta raffle prize tickets available for sale at all of our breakfast, luncheons, and both fiestas. For $20 each, payable by cash, check, or by mail on the Papa website. Your ticket will be eligible for the drawing at both fiestas. Please RSVP your meal tickets early as space is limited. See the Papa System website for more information. All future Orange County, LA, San Diego, and Inland Empire breakfast and luncheons will have VE exams available. Please pre-register on the Papa website in advance for the event you wish to attend. All this information and a whole lot more can be found on the Papa System website at papasys.com. And don't forget to check your weekly Papa email, and we do have a Papa System Facebook and Instagram page, so check in with us when you can. Alrighty. Yeah, that's quite a bit to announce there, so I figured I'd just record it. Less work for me to do. Let me take a quick pause, and we'll get started. Again, this is W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. I'm just looking for something. Okay, I hope everyone's had a great weekend, like I said. Probably the weather was not bad, so it wasn't hot, so at least we had some pretty nice weather for everyone. And so my two topics for tonight, I'm titling this net Time for a Change. I know it sounds political. Don't go there. We don't do politics on the Great Outdoor Net. Well, it might get a little political, but let's hope not. Not that political. Anyway, so time for a change. There's a change of leaves, and there's also the change of time. Are you for it, or are you against it? I wish we could just do away with it. I think I know the answer to most people, but we'll wait and see. So you have two topics we can talk about. I was going to talk a little bit about why leaves change. They change color in the fall because of changes in the temperature and daylight that cause the leaves to stop making food. As night lengthens and increases in autumn, the chlorophyll production slows down, then stops, and eventually all of the chlorophyll is destroyed. The carotenoids, I know I was going to have trouble with that one, and and this is like reading my prescription medicine, and thiocyan that are present in the leaves are unmasked to show their true colors. So that's why we get all the different oranges and yellows and everything as you normally get to see. Beautiful stuff. Okay, well, you know, most of the East Coast is pretty much the king, I guess, when it comes to foliage. We get the Berkshires in Massachusetts, and number 8 is out of the 10. Finger Lakes, New York, Stowe, Vermont, White Mountains, New Hampshire, Hocking Hills, Ohio, Blue Ridge Mountains, Georgia, Hot Springs, Arkansas, Laurel Highlands in Pennsylvania, and the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. And so locally, we do have some nice places. I grew up in Northern California, at least my teenage years, Grass Valley, Nevada City, and they have very beautiful foliage up there in Nevada County. So, and a lot of places. We saw a little bit there in Yosemite. But some of the local favorites are like the Big Bear Lake, the Sconzo Gardens, the Malibu Creek State Park, Whittier Narrows Recreation Area, Idlewild Nature Center, where I grew up, Oak Glen, town of Julian, and the Palomar Mountain State Park, just to name a few. So let us know, if you will, if you've ever, ventured way off to go see some great colors, like as in taking a trip cross country or to Colorado or somewhere, just some beautiful stuff out there this time of year. And the other question is daylight savings time. Are you for it or against it? Don't really care. It's not that big a hassle to change the clocks and the smoke alarm batteries. So let's take a few check-ins, see who's out there tonight, and we'll see where we go from there. We might end up talking about spiders. You never know. W6CJX, net control.
Kilo November Golf.
Kilo Delta 6, Lima, Bravo.
Kilo Juliet 6, Golf Echo Uniform.
Kilo Mike 6, November Lima Uniform.
Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo.
November 6, Alpha Quebec, Quebec.
Kilo Oscar 6, Bravo, Kilo X-Ray.
Whiskey 8, Lima, Oscar Uniform, Blue, Sherman Oaks, Papa Ulster.
Zulu 1, Echo, 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 Alexis, Papa 4.
Okay, I think we'll stop there, get started, and we got a nice little run there. There was one station that right at the very beginning that doubled with Adrian, so maybe you might, if you thought you just were one of the first ones there, and you're not Adrian, please call Net Control.
Yeah, Kilo 6, Tom, that was the first one.
Got you, Tom. And there was another one that doubled with you again, so we'll take him. The other station come by?
KM6AVH.
Yeah, I thought there was an RJ in there, in that mix. I was running it back through my brain a couple times to see if I could recognize who it all was. It was perfect, though. All right, so we got you down. We'll try to take it in semi-order like that, because you guys did come in at a certain time there. Okay, let's say hello to Adrian. I know he's been in and out and about and about. I've probably seen some fall colors in his time. If not, what's your thoughts on the time change? And And do we need it? Keep it? Just go with it and don't make a big deal out of it? I don't know. What's your thoughts? Go ahead, Adrian. Welcome.
Everybody on the net. This is Adrian, KK6HNG. I would start with the time. It was a historical thing. We definitely do not need it. I hate it, but it is what it is. Luckily, most of my clocks will do it automatically. So that's that. Now, talking of colors, well, very nice subject, very good subject. Typically, it's associated with places that has 4 seasons, like in the Europe where I was born, and especially in oak forests during fall, you would see quite some very nice colors there. But nothing even compares to the photos I've seen about Acadia National Park here in the United States. Hopefully one day I'm going to visit that, or in the fall, of course. And other than that, yeah, I've seen a few nice colors a little earlier, like on Charlotte Lake with all the plants and whatnot. I guess when you're hiking, colors are always a great thing. And even today, I was doing a little hike in the Palos Verdes on the beach in that area. There was a little color there, but not a lot, aside from seeing the island. On the other side, well, it's California. It's always summer. Maybe a wet one or a dry one. Just a little windy today. So that's my rumble for now, and thank you, Bob, for doing the net. KK6HNG, back to net control.
Yeah, I guess it has to do with, like you said, the 4 seasons. If you live in an area where it doesn't get cold in the fall, which kind of is here, we don't get really cold. We get a little cold snap. We do have some liquid ambers or liquid maples, I don't know, down the street that are turning colors pretty nice. And we drove the neighborhood about a week ago and found some different colorful things. Just, went and picked up some pine cones, kind of the fall thing you do. So it was fun. Good. Sounds good, Adrian. Thank you so much, as always. Let's go to Tom, K6COZ. I bet you, Massachusetts, up in those areas. I bet you've seen some good fall foliage.
Hey, good evening, Bob. Everybody on the net. Yeah, I got an opportunity to live up there from 69 to 76 in North Attleboro, Massachusetts. And my grandma and grandpa live up in the Berkshires in Pittsfield. So they're beautiful birch trees and all the maple and the oak and a lot of pine up there also. But yeah, usually by now most of the leaves have already fallen and it's getting brown and looking pretty sticky. It's getting sticky, but yeah, everything's already done. But yeah, it's beautiful up there this time of the year. So, and all the leaves are down. We used to be able to put leaves in the pile and have little fires at the end of your driveway when you rake your yard, but they don't let you do that anymore. And time change, negative. Don't like it. I was out barbecuing in the dark this evening at 6, so yeah, it was already dark. Okay, catch you later, Bob. Thanks for having me. Back to net control, K6COZ.
Oh, yeah, you just brought back a memory for me. Up in Northern California, we used to have burn days, so the pyrotechnic in me, even though I was a fireman around that time too, but maybe this was before I was actually a fireman. But to get me to rake the yard and all these massive oak tree leaves, which don't really change color except the brown mostly, but they're just so heavy. But we'd have our burn days, and I used to love kind of like tending the fire and then just burn all the leaves up. But that was kind of neat. Yeah, I forgot all about that. You don't do that too often down here, but I think unless it's a controlled burn. All right, thank you, Tom. And let's say hello to RJ, because he was in that pile up in the beginning there, KM6AVH.
Yeah, KM6AVH. Yeah, negative on the time change. Now, one thing I don't remember the exact wording on the ballot for that. I think all it asked was, do you want the time change to stop? I don't remember anything on the ballot asking what do you prefer, daylight savings or standard. So I don't think we got to vote on that part of it. I would definitely say daylight savings, but unfortunately, Congress has to do that, and they would probably make that a blanket law throughout the states to either keep it or to lose it one way or the other, because it would be, I mean, we can deal with the 2.5 states. Yes, there's a half a state that does not change, but we've got accustomed to Hawaii not changing, Arizona not changing, and half of Indiana does not change. And so we're kind of used to that, but with the other 47 states, if some changed and some didn't, I think air traffic controllers and schedulers and everybody else would just jump off a bridge and end it all, because there'd be time. Different states would have different times in the same time zone. That would be like lunacy. So anyway, yeah, so that's that. And fall colors, I did take a trip a few years back up to the Eastern Sierras, and it was rather Western Sierras, and it was absolutely spectacular. It was beautiful. Okay, KM6AVH back over to net control.
Yeah, I guess I was reading something about the bill and that it made it through the California voters, but then it got stalled and denied or something in the federal area. Don't quote me on that, but that's just something I had heard. So it sounded like we were all voting not to keep it. But oh well, I don't know anything different really. Been doing this ever since I was a kid, so I don't know what's the difference. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. We're talking time changes, and changes of the leaves. And if you have a favorite place that you go to or that you have been to, be kind of fun too. All right, let's go over to Bob, KJ6GEU. Good evening, Bob, and welcome, and thanks for being patient.
Hi, Bob. Thanks for doing the net. This is Bob, KJ6GEU, mobile, now back on Papa 1. So, to answer your questions, number one, fall colors. Yeah, I've done a fair amount of hiking up in the Eastern Sierra, Convict Lake, the Mammoth Lakes area, and there's some really nice color changes up there in the fall. Really pretty stuff. I mean, especially around Convict. I mean, all those trees all turn yellow, and it's beautiful. As far as the East Coast, I would love to go to the East Coast and actually be able to hike up there like I think Adrian mentioned, Acadia. It's supposed to be really pretty. The Appalachians also are supposed to be really pretty. So I'd like to do that eventually. Unfortunately, in Southern California, we have two colors. We have scrub brown and it's kind of decent green between like March and June, and that's about it. Anyway, as far as the time, I definitely agree. It's a pain in the neck. We need to get rid of it. Congress actually did vote on it once. I think it passed the House, but it got torpedoed in the Senate or the other way around. They were actually talking about abolishing it. I would rather, stay daylight savings all year. That would be fine with me. There have been multiple studies that show that the spring forward in the springtime actually causes an increase in traffic accidents and heart attacks and other bad things. So I don't know why they just don't get rid of it. It was done to try and save electricity during the war. Well, we don't need to do that anymore. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. Back to net control, Bob. Thanks for doing the net. Appreciate it. KJ6GEU.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear. Some history behind it and what was the whole purpose. I know we use more electricity now because it's, almost dark at 5, and it will be soon. So you're coming home from work, which I didn't used to like because I used to enjoy coming home from work and having daylight for an hour or two. You could barbecue or do some yard work or something, but now If you're coming home from work and it's 5 or 6, it's dark. And let's say hello to Kilo Mike 6 NLU, Lima Uniform. Welcome to the net. Give us your name, location, if you have it, and anything you have for the net, for the two subjects.
Hey there, this is KM6NLU, Frank, coming out of Riverside. Yeah, I didn't know much about the history of that either, so that's pretty interesting. Don't really have an opinion on it, but definitely going to do some more research on the whole time change thing. That's pretty good info. Turn everything green, so definitely very much looking forward to that. That's pretty much it. Back to you, Net Control. Thank you for doing the net for us. KM6NLU.
Well, good to hear you tonight, Frank. Yeah, it's I always learn a little something on most of all of our nets. That's the whole kind of purpose of it, whether it be the antenna net or the TechNet or D-Star Net, P25, DMR, Saturday Night Roundtable. You know, they're all kind of informative, and even the New Hams net, there's some new tips and things to help the new hams. So kind of an educational process. Anyway, thank you so much for being there tonight, and thanks for the kind words. AB6MB, Jeff, good evening, and welcome to the Great Outdoors.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much, and thank you for doing the net. I grew up in Seattle, you know, and up there we had, well, close to 4 seasons. I remember the trees with the leaves turning, and then they lose them and everything, and remember that pretty well. I see a little bit of that here in the Bay Area. I think it's the trees outside my patio here are starting to lose leaves. The trees are starting to lose leaves, and which is interesting. I don't like it. I like the trees to be nice and leafy. Anyway, and as far as daylight savings time, I think we should just be on one. The usage of this time going forwards and backwards, whatever it was before, you know, it's kind of hazy when you think about it. They say, well, it's for the crops and all that, and then other people say, well, actually not really. So I don't know what the whole history is. Be interesting to find out. But anyway, just have one time year-round, and I think that just would make it easier for everybody. And every year, because of the time change, you know, people will be out of sync and have more accidents, and they usually lose like 100 or more people every time they do that changes. So, which you know, it just makes everybody kind of looks at each other, and why do we have this? And you know, they just should get rid of it. So, as you can tell, I definitely am definitely in the get rid of it camp. Okay, Bob, thank you very much for doing that again. AB6MB.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And I was trying to remember which way it goes. I think it's spring where you can kind of maybe once in your career get away with telling your boss, you know, I forgot to change my clock. It only works kind of once, unless your boss has a very bad memory. But I think it's the spring, right? When you spring ahead and you're late. Yeah, I think that would be it. Otherwise, in the fall, you'd just be early. Then you'd probably wonder why you're early. I don't know, especially if you're always late. Thank you, Jeff. And let's say hello to Dale, N68QQ. Good evening, my friend. Welcome. And I got 66 in the shack, but I don't know what it is outside. I think I blew it when I bought this thermometer.
Good evening, Bob and Ed. Dale, N68QQ. It's 56 degrees in Tustin. Yeah, leave the time alone. It would be my vote. And as far as fall colors, I've been to Descanso Gardens in Big Bear. They're nice this time of year. And I've been back east, and I've been Cottonwood, Arizona. It's pretty at this time of year. Anyway, N68QQ, back to that.
Well, so far our consensus has been no. Just leave it alone. And, you know, we wouldn't want it to be the other way. You want to keep it at daylight savings because that way we get the benefit in the summer, right? You got to think about that. So I'm assuming that when they had the ballot or when people were voting on it, that was what they were voting for, was the fall time. Or I guess they just call it daylight savings time. You say DST, they know what you're talking about. But, yep, I think most of the people would love to just leave it alone, because it's going to get darker earlier as the Earth rotates anyway. So even though you don't let's say we don't fall back and just leave it alone, it's still going to kind of get darker, but not as dark and not as fast, I think. Thank you, Dale. And let's say hello to Evo, KO6BKX. Good evening, my friend, and welcome.
Hey, good evening, Bob, and everybody on the net. Good to hear you tonight, Bob. It's been a while since we talked on the radio, so good to hear you. I love the colors of fall. Definitely the leaves, but also the sky. There's some pretty neat stuff going on with red and burgundy colors at night, or in late afternoon, I should say. I don't care much for cleaning up the leaves, though. But when I was a kid in Belgium, we had bonfires on November 11th to remember the end of World War I, and we would collect leaves and pine cones and wood and whatever we could find to burn. And I tell you what, there is a lot of smoke coming from leaves when you burn them, and yeah, it's my lungs may be impacted by that just as much as from smoking. So I don't like the time change. I really don't like it getting dark early in the evening. Tonight we were outside and it was 5:45, and I told Sibel, "Oh my God, it's dark. I hate it." The last thing with the time change is that it seems like the older I get, the more it's affecting me, and I can't stop getting older, but if they can get rid of that time change, that may help me just a little bit. Thanks for doing the net, Bob. KO6BKX, over to you.
Well, thank you, Evo. And before I forget to tell you, because I do every single time we talk, is to say hello to Bartu for me and give him all my best. I miss him. He's a cool kid. He's not a kid, I know. Well, compared to us, it was great fun. So tell him I said hello. Give him my best regards. Maybe if we, I wish we could play bumper music. I was going to play Share If We Could Turn Back Time, but you can't play music, so that's not working. That's not happening. But if we could turn back time, maybe every day 1 hour, maybe we would get younger or not older as fast. I don't know. That sounds like time travel. Time for another net. Thanks, Evo. Let's go to Alexis. WZ21EEE, Whiskey Zulu 1 Triple E. Welcome, and how are you doing tonight? And welcome to the Great Outdoors.
Bob in the net, thanks for having me. I have been playing with the radio all weekend and doing some work, so it's been really fun. Have not been outdoors, but I do have an opinion on daylight savings time. I have always disliked it ever since I was young, and especially into adulthood, when it just doesn't make sense anymore. I feel like it's a relic left over, one that can go away, one that I don't need to appreciate. And I think it's so interesting that everyone here is kind of along the same lines of like, yeah, it'd be great if it wasn't happening. But as Jeff, I think, pointed out, it would be quite a bit of work to do with all the infrastructure. That's the main thing. Same reason we're on the imperial system, for the most part, is it's just infrastructure. So that's my thought. It'd be great to change, but it would be incredibly expensive, probably dangerous, and I'd still like to make it happen. And similarly to Jeff, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and I do miss that. I miss having seasons for the most part. And yeah, but it was pretty windy out today, and I got to see a lot of leaves blowing, so they came from somewhere. That was pretty nice. Anyways, I'll send it back to you. Whiskey Zulu 1, Echo, Echo, Echo. I'll be clear.
Well, let me thank Alexis for coming on and appreciate your input and being there and being a participant tonight. And we'll go back up to Lou, W8LOU. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, just nothing really big on the time change. I'm not really for or against it. It's been that way forever, and it doesn't really bother me either which way. So, it doesn't matter to me whether they switch it and stop it or whatever. I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. Other than that, we had a great day today. The Bad Boys Motorcycle Club, we got together as usual on Sunday, did our Sunday ride. We meet at the Cage Donuts on Selma Boulevard at 9:30. I got there about 9 because my wife and my grandson met me there, and he took some donuts to church, and he was all dressed up to go to church. She goes to church religiously every Sunday. And so he took donuts to the Sunday school class. That was pretty cool. He's such a cute kid. And he loves seeing the motorcycles. He loves my motorcycles. He says when he gets big like me, he's going to ride them, which is pretty cool. But we did a nice ride over to Angeles Crest and all through the forest, and got a little chilly out there, but it was a great ride. A little windy, but it was all good. We made it over to Sierra Highway, and then we went to a place called Vincent Hill Saloon. It was really good, great food. Had an amazing BLT with steak fries, and I had this creamy chicken soup. It was really good, and I thought it was great. And then we made our ride back up the 14 and around and back. That's about it. So thanks for letting me in, Bob, and good to hear you out here, and thanks for doing the net, and thanks for all the voodoo that you do. 73 WW.
Well, that sounds like a great day. Definitely, this time of the year is kind of fun to take off on the bike. You know, it's not so hot, and you can just wear the leathers or whatever, keep you warm if it's a little chilly, but that's what it's all about, layering, I guess. So definitely sound like a fun time. You can go to all these little places that have, great viewing of fall and stuff like that, and just make a big deal out of it, just make a day out of it. So that sounds pretty good. Isaac's in the house. Hey, high five to Isaac. Good job. Okay, it sounds good today. Well, I'm at the bottom of my list and looking for other stations that would like to talk about the time change, you for it, against it, don't care, and or your favorite place to see some fall colors, or if you've seen some already, or you've been somewhere and traveled to see them. There's, they have cruises, they have all kinds of tours, different places, mostly on the East Coast, but it's kind of fun, and definitely a cool thing to see this time of year. All right, let's stand by for any other stations. Please check in now.
Kilo Delta 6 recheck.
Fox. Kilo Delta 6 Lima Bravo. That was RJ and Steve, WA6FGW, that I doubled with.
C6 WTN.
All right. You know what, Logan? I didn't get you. I don't remember calling on you, and I don't remember hearing you. Okay. Forever forgive me. I apologize. 86 LLB. The microphone is yours.
Not a problem, Bob. Anyway, it's good to hear everybody on, and thanks for doing the net as always, Bob. This is Logan, KD6LLB on Papa 4. And, as far as fall colors, I wouldn't say I've gone to extraordinary lengths. I haven't booked a cruise or anything, but I've many times tried to schedule trips for when, the fall colors were supposed to be at their peak, their best in some area. And I've been very fortunate to have family members, my aunts and uncles, who know about these things and are very experienced at traveling to see, fall colors or, rare flower blooms. And I have not had, the closest thing I've had to success is showing up somewhere and hearing, you should have been here last week. It was amazing last week. And, but that said, just by dumb luck and accident, I have stumbled onto some really pretty nice fall colors. I don't know if they're the nicest fall colors that have ever been, but I've been lucky. Just not when I try. If I try to see some fall colors, it hasn't worked out yet. And as far as daylight savings, I'm doing my best to I realized a long time ago that it's probably not going to change anytime soon. There's certainly nothing I can do about it.
And so I have made a concerted effort to just sort of adjust to it, and not let it bug me. But I definitely did not like when the days got shorter, and then that first drive home, especially if you have to drive home at like 5 or 6 in the evening, and all of a sudden it's dark when it shouldn't be. Everybody, I don't know, people don't handle it very well, and I didn't enjoy that. But the other side of it is when summer was getting closer, and spring would come around, and they would move the clock forward, and it would mean we had more time in the afternoon, and it made it possible for me to go join my friends for surfing, that kind of thing. That was about as good as it gets. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but yeah, I think it would make sense to keep it. It doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, I also have had this idea for a long time that we should just spring forward every spring and not do anything in the fall, so that the time just keeps advancing, and then we'll see what happens. Everything would be kind of relative, the days. Anyway, nobody likes that idea. It's just a joke. All right, good to hear everybody. Thanks again, Bob. KD6LLB, back to net.
Well, God forbid we wanted to go faster. We wanted to go slower. So I vote for the fall back every year and no spring forward. We'll see how that turns out. We'll be working during midnight or at middle of the... Anyway. Yeah, let's not even go there. I guess I feel the same way. I feel it's not something I can do about it. I know you can vote and you can do things, yes. But it sounds like we voted and we still didn't get any action. So maybe it is a logistical thing where say, well, if California doesn't have it and Arizona doesn't have it, Hawaii doesn't have it, but everyone else does. It would screw things up, I think. Anyway, it's hard enough when you're traveling because then you go through the different time zones. When you get to the East Coast, you're like, I lost 3 hours? What's going on here? Anyway, thank you, Logan, and sorry about missing you up there. I just happened to look up, and there you were. WA6 FGW. Steve, welcome.
Okay, hey, good evening there, Bob and the net. WA6 Foxtrot Golf Whiskey here. As far as the time change goes, personally it worked out better for me having lighter later, if you will. When I first started, working, and of course I was traveling, 25 to 40 miles into downtown LA, 5 days a week, and it was on the way home. It's nice to at least have part of that trip in the sunlight. And of course, then when a family came along, being able to go to kids' soccer games and different things along that line, and that always happened after school, which meant that either it was under the lights or it happened so early that I couldn't attend. So I got my selfish reasons for doing that sort of thing, but we don't want to forget about working on the car when we got home and different things along that line. But that being said, now that I'm in a retired mode, it's kind of like taking away some of the how would you say it? Some of the reasons a little bit have been muted because of that. Now I can just schedule my day a little bit earlier. That's how it goes. Anyway, as far as fall colors go, I'll just call it the Eastern Sierras, like many of the other people on the net have done, and consider it a done deal. There's small little pockets that develop early sometimes, or go a little late, depends on the weather, of course. And the ultimate thing would be to go the rotation of the Earth high. That would give us some longer days. If we could just do it in the wintertime, that would help a lot, I guess. Anyway, thanks again, Bob. WA6FGW.
Well, I think we've already screwed up Mother Nature enough as it is. Don't make that a political thing either, but as far as global warming, or it's not global warming, it is global warming, I don't know. But we start tilting the Earth, I don't know what I think the poles are supposed to swap or some crazy thing. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but it doesn't sound like it would be a lot of fun. All right, thanks, Steve. Yeah, when you were talking about driving, I used to think about the days coming down the coast. I didn't get to see the coast when it got dark. I'd leave Santa Maria like 4 o'clock. I'd get down to Santa Barbara around 5, and there's no coast, there's no ocean, or maybe a good sunset once in a while. Yeah, you got to time it just right. All right, Steve, good to hear you. Thank you, sir. And let's say we got a recheck from RJ. But let's pick up Jeff real quick, and then we'll come right back to RJ. WTN, yes, Watertown. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for doing the net tonight. As far as daylight saving, I can take it or leave it, as long as we don't keep changing every 6 or 8 months. So pick one and keep it. That's where I'm at. As far as fall colors, the best I've seen was about 25 years ago. I did a couple of stints for work in Northern Virginia, D.C., and Northern Virginia, that was just beautiful with all the fall colors. And on one of the weekends, the group I was with, went to some Civil War battlefields, and those were gorgeous as well because a lot of them are preserved and protected, so they're still forests and lots of trees. That's what I remember. Back to net control. Good topic tonight. KC6WTN.
Yeah, I do remember, and I do have pictures that my father took of, because he was a photographer, so he had pictures of everything. Well, some I didn't want to see, but we won't go there either. He had pictures and photo albums, and of course I was there at the time, so I remember it, but of the fall trees up in Nevada City, Grass Valley, it's above Auburn, Sacramento there, about an hour from Sacramento. And he'd park his Model A's. He had a 229 Model A's, and he'd take them out and, shoot the pictures of all the trees, because they're just amazing. So beautiful. Orange and yellows and unbelievable. Really bright reds, and they're all mixed together. So it was a kind of a beautiful place this time of year. It really felt like fall, too, and it would get cold at night. So, all right. Well, thank you, Jeff, as always. And let's say hello to RJ, KM6AVH. What you got for us again?
KM6AVH. Yeah, remembering there's 2 arguments for standard time. One is for farmers, so they have an extra hour of daylight in the morning to work. And also for kids getting up, there's an extra hour of daylight in the morning when they're going to school, which isn't all that important at the end of the day because if kids do even go to school nowadays, they're usually out by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, way before a 4:30 sunset. And so those, I remember, the 2 arguments for standard time. And one other little thing about time that I had gone on one of my road trips, and I was up in Lake Quinault, Wisconsin, and it was pretty much during the summer, and I got up there, and wow, the sun was setting about 9:30 or 10. We were that far north. And I don't remember what time it would rise in the sunshine in the morning, and I thought, this is very cool. Then all of a sudden it dawned on me, that was the summertime. During the winter up there, it gets dark like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it doesn't get light until like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So while I was basking in the long daylight hours during the summer, I realized for me, it would have psychologically just totally sucked to only have 6 hours of daylight during the day. KM6AVH, back to net control.
I'm glad you brought that up. All those shows I used to watch, or kind of still do, the Alaskan shows, when they would have that certain time, I guess is it winter, where it really never gets dark? I mean, the sun's like, midnight, looks like daylight outside, not as intense, but because of the low horizon of the sun. Anyway, that's pretty neat to figure that one out. I guess if you work during the day and then try to sleep at night, it must really do something on your head, I'm sure, when you're trying to figure out, is it day or is it night? Anyway, thank you, RJ. Appreciate. And let's go to N6UTD. Bill, welcome.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Bill in Redlands. So, the best thing about the changing colors when I was a kid was on the family farm. We'd rake up all the leaves and just have huge bonfires. And I remember trying to, or thinking I knew about fire. I took a bunch of things into account, and at least I thought in my mind I did, to see how big I could make the bonfire without posing any sort of fire damage threat to, the trees or the buildings or anything. I guess I was lucky my parents put up with me. Anyway, so here's the deal. In November 2018, voters passed Proposition 7, which authorized the state to switch to permanently to either daylight saving time or standard time. But here's the problem. I think most people want daylight saving time. I know I do. And in order for them to switch to daylight saving time, it has to be approved by the United States Congress. But if they switch to standard time, it does not require congressional approval. So maybe that's why Arizona, for example, just stays on standard time year-round. And so, but from my perspective, I don't see any reason to switch to standard time permanently, because it's just depressing. Like you said, like some callers said, driving home in the dark from work. And I'll tell you what was the worst. It's not a problem anymore, but I still feel for these parents. I remember standing out in the middle of a soccer field at 8:15 at night, and the sun's been down for 4 hours in the middle of December. It's freezing, and it feels like it's, halfway to midnight because, it's been dark for so long, and you feel like, oh, I got my kid out here playing soccer, and, it's late at night. Is this actually being a good parent? So I'd rather have the daylight at the end of the day personally. As far as the a couple of the reasons for not doing it is harder to keep track of different time zones in different states. But we're pretty automated these days. We don't even think about the time. We just look at our phone or our watch that's connected to our phone, and that's it. Oh dang it! There was one more thing I wanted to. So the kids going to school in the morning in the dark. I don't think that's really an issue anymore, because most school districts have adopted this policy to start school later in the day, and because they cite that, kids sleep better then. I don't know. I say just put the kids to bed earlier then, but the school districts say that doesn't matter. According to the studies, that it's better. They do better as students if school starts later. So school is already starting later anyway. And even if it didn't, they could change the school time if the time changed. So it's not really a good reason anymore, I don't think. I sure would rather have daylight saving time. And you know what? We all say, well, what can we do? But, we're talking about it now. It seems like almost everyone agrees that daylight saving time would be better. So, the fact that we're all talking about it and agree, I think that goes someplace. Anyway, that's it for me. N6UTD. Thanks, Bob. And good to hear everyone on the net.
Great info on all that, the Congress and the other. I think, the most people would definitely want to keep the daylight savings time, because you get to benefit that in summer. I guess what I was thinking, too, is that, if you do stop switching back and forth, we always look forward to the spring ahead. And kind of like, in your head, or as a kid, you're thinking, great, I can start staying out till 9 o'clock at night. We used to be like the old days. You can stay out till the street lights come on. And when they come on, you got to come in, that type of thing. So, but those are probably lost days. Most kids don't even come home anymore. I don't know. Who knows? I hope not. Anyway, W6CJX, for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. We're discussing the time change, and do you like it or do you don't like it? Get away with it. And any fall colors, because that has to do with the time change also, or at least the sun not being quite as apparent. And of course, the result of that is the cooler temperatures. So let's see who else is out there and come in and talk to Net Control.
KF4 PQH Ron.
And 6 UTD. All right, well, we picked up Ron. I was hoping to. And picked up Bill for a recheck. Let's go to Ron and see what you guys are up to. KF4 PQH. I bet you've seen some pretty good colors being on the East Coast all the time that you do spend over there. So let us know what you've seen or what's a good spot. And anything else you have for the net, time change and all that good stuff. Over to you, Ron.
Well, good evening, Bob and Annette. This is KF4 PQH coming in from near Apalachicola, Florida. That's a mouthful. It's also called the Forgotten Coast. We're actually sitting on a campground here and got a view in the daylight. Right now it's dark out. Of the bay in front of us, and took a ride this afternoon from where we're at over to something called St. George Island, which was really gorgeous. But yeah, we got to see a lot of colors. We were a couple weeks ago coming back from Cincinnati, Ohio, and going through West Virginia through the mountains as the colors were changing, and they were beautiful. As far as daylight savings time, I don't know. I think I'd just as soon do away with the time change, but something we've always been doing, not really a big deal, but I don't like it when it gets dark so early, I guess. So I think I'd like to see that change. But doing well here. We're going to hang out in Florida, actually, for the next 3 weeks. We'll be here a week, and then we're moving down towards Ocala, Florida for a while. Going to hang out with some friends down there for a couple of weeks, and then we will start our westward journey back, hoping to be back in Phoenix before Christmas and back in California around December 27th. So 7-3 to everybody out there. Good to hear you. And Bob, thanks for doing that. This is KF4 PQH. Regards to Carolyn. And back to Net Control.
Well, you sound great tonight, Ron. Definitely. And give Dee a big hug for me. So, yeah, very good. Yeah, I figured you'd see some good stuff out that way. So we'll keep track of you. I'll get the map out and start putting the pins in it on you, making your travel back, and then get you all the way back out this way to California. That'd be good. All right, Ron, always a pleasure. Let's say hello back, hello. Hello back in 6 UTD. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, yeah, so there's one thing that I forgot to mention, and that is that proposition is currently being, going through the California legislature right now, and they're trying to decide what to do with it, whether to move ahead with standard time or just, I guess, wait it out for the daylight saving time. So I forgot to mention it is still active, and they're working on it now. Anyway, back to you, Bob. Thanks. N6 UTD.
Well, at least we know there's some progress going on out there. I have 2 atomic clocks in my in the shack here, or the studio, whatever you want to call it. A little bit of everything here, and then I have one that's on a weather station that changes. It's all those radio clocks. So that's kind of cool. So I didn't have to change those 3 devices, but the rest of them I have to do. You don't realize how many clocks you have until you start to have to change all the clocks. But the only positive thing not the only. One of the positive things that would be an outcome to doing this twice a year is changing your batteries and your smoke detector. Although, however, the last smoke detectors that we bought had the 10-year lithium-ion batteries. I don't know how they're going to let you know when they're low. I guess like the old way, they just start beeping at 3 o'clock in the morning. Never at midday or while you're not home. It's always beeping at 2:30 in the morning. But there's a reason for that. And I don't know if I need to go through any further on that. It's just because of the colder area slows down the battery voltage or amperage, and that way it's not getting the full strength. So that's why it does it in the middle of the night most of the time. Okay, enough of my science lesson. Bob Nye, the science guy. Anyone else out there like to check in with us tonight on the Papa System Great Outdoor Net?
K6HNG.
KF6 VPA arriving late.
K6 PTZ. VE3SHR/Whiskey 6.
Okay, there we go. We got 4 more. Well, we got a recheck from Adrian. Is your recheck short? Because we have a couple people that haven't got in yet. I'll go ahead and let Adrian go because it's real easy to forget people that are rechecking. So go ahead, Adrian.
Bob, this is Adrian, KK6HNG. Oh yeah, it's pretty easy. I have that 10 years old one too. You can still test it the old way by pressing a button. There you go. KK6HNG, back to net.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, like, maybe when the 10 years, because we're getting close. I think we've been here maybe 9 years, and that was when I put these up there, because I thought, you know, since they have them, they're not that much more expensive. If you figure the price of 9-volt batteries, then you're really saving money by getting the 10-year deal. You just have to remember to do something with it at the end of the 10 years. But I have a feeling it'll just start beeping at us like the old ones. Or I wish it would just do a beep, 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 beep. So it's not the beep every 30 seconds. And you think, did I hear something? And then you start to fall back to sleep, and then it beeps again, and you're like, oh, no. I'm sure we've all experienced that. Thank you, Adrian. And let's say hello to KF4, Victor Papa Alpha.
I'm so late I didn't hear what the topic was, but glad to be able to finally join in.
No worries. Better late than never. We're just talking about kind of name the net time for a change because we had to change the time, and also the leaves are changing. So it kind of threw a little outdoorness in with all that. So that's the 2 topics if you want to talk on those. Go ahead. Give us your name.
Oh, it's Ray from Escondido, the fire lookout guy. I can't say I enjoy it. I wish they'd just get rid of it. But we are about 1/3 of the way from the equator to the poles, so we do have a pretty significant change in daylight time from winter to summer. Of course, it wouldn't make sense in, say, Hawaii, because they're so close to the equator. They really don't have that much of a change, but I can see points from both sides of it, but I don't enjoy it. I know it's getting colder, and I have a couple shifts at the tower coming up next weekend, and I'm not looking forward to it being so cold. Spending one night in the cold, I think. Anyway, that's all I got. Back to net control.
Wow, I've got egg on my face. You know, as I was writing your call sign down, and heard your voice too, I kind of just thought about it for a second, and then I realized, but once you said that, you had a couple shifts. Yeah, that was a pretty big hit. We got quite a few people liking that one on the archive, and I went back and listened to it again. I listened to it when I was doing some post-editing stuff, and then I listened to it during the net. You know, I found out going back, especially being net controller, you're not really listening to the net. I mean, we are, but you're concentrating on getting people in and making sure you get their call sign, and then you're listening to them talk, of course. But when you can go back and you don't have that other part of your job to do and just listen to the net, I learn and hear things that I didn't hear during the net. So that's happened many, many times. So I love being able to do that. Well, thank you, Ray. And, good luck with your couple of volunteering. That's going to be kind of chilly up there, I suppose, as the time gets on here. Let's head back down a little further to Mark, K6PTZ. Go ahead, Mark. The microphone is yours.
Well, good evening, Bob, and everybody on the net. This is Mark, Kilo 6, Papa Tango Z, over here in Vista on my Anytone HT, currently on Papa 9. And, unlike most, I prefer the more daylight at the end of the day. But, it definitely throws me off a little bit, but not too bad. I remember when I was working, I would go to work in the dark and come home from work in the dark, and I hated that. But, Like tonight, the sunset was at 4:55, but I always say, well, it's really 5:55, but when it changes anyway. Anyways, so as far as the leaves go, fall is my favorite time of the year, Bob. I really enjoy the in-between, the cooler, breezy days, and obviously the fall colors. One of the best fall colors that I've seen anywhere is in Vermont, Maine, and also New Hampshire. One of the most beautiful fall you'll ever see over there. It's really beautiful. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island, so I grew up back east there in New England. So it's beautiful at this time of the year, and I always tell everybody, if you want to go to New England, go during the fall, because during the summer it's extremely hot, muggy, and in winter is bitter cold. Fall is, in my opinion, the best time of year. Anyways, that's all I have for that. Bob, good hearing you in there. Thanks for doing it. This is Mark over here in Vista, Kilo 6, Papa Tango Z.
Okay, so I only get half a point. I got the Vista part. I don't know why I thought Chula Vista. I guess I was thinking of John down there, W6FE. But good to hear you there, Mark. And I agree with you 100,000%. I love fall. Like I said on one of the other nets, we kind of start, Carolyn and I both start with our birthdays in October, and then you've got Halloween, and then you've got Thanksgiving, and then you've got whatever holiday you celebrated, Christmas, Hanukkah, and all the different ones, just the holidays. So it is definitely my favorite. And then New Year's, and then it's back to full year again. Got to start all over. But it's great to ring out the new year. So we should have a lot of fun coming up here on the Papa system also with the Fiestas, which is something I really enjoy. Hope everyone gets there. We got our ticket, actually, for the Fiesta Norte. I don't know if we're doing Del Sur or not, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much, Mark. Good to hear you. Nice to be on the other side of the microphone and having you check in with me. And I think the next station is Victor, let's see, VE3, Sierra Hotel Romeo. And if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Good evening, Bob, and everyone on the net. Yeah, you've got the call sign correct. It is Victor Echo 3 Sierra Hotel Romeo /Whiskey 6. My name is Max. I am a Canadian ham operator here in Los Alamitos, California, and I'm here for work for a few years, so you'll probably get to hear my call sign of it over the next couple of years. In terms of the subject for tonight, as I was raised in Ontario, Canada, the foliage is a thing that we can't get away from. So living by the Great Lakes, you get a lot of that beautiful colors, which is great, really picturesque and everything. Although for us up there and, my entire childhood, that was reminiscent of pretty much all the fun summer activities coming to an end as winter is quickly around the corner. So it's a bittersweet for me because I really do love the colors and the changes of colors and all that stuff on the trees, but at the same time it brings, that sort of bitter taste that, all the fun stuff that summer brings are quickly coming to an end. In terms of the daylight savings, I was born in Italy, raised in Canada. I've only ever known about this. I've never lived in any place where they didn't change the time. And, when I was a kid, that's all I knew, and that's pretty much all I've known. Being older now, I guess I could appreciate that extra hour of daylight. Along with what the rest of the, majority of the guys on the net here tonight said is, barbecuing at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's being dark kind of, cramps your style in the sense that you don't get as much done, or at least you feel like the day's over earlier. So having that extra bit of daylight doesn't hurt. But, I'm impartial either way, really. Back to net. This is VE3SHR/W6.
Well, you had me, Max, when you said I'm down here for work for a few years. I went, whoa. Usually it's like a couple weeks or a couple months. That's pretty funny. Well, I know it's true, but I just don't mean to make it funny. We love our VE3 calls, or our VE calls, definitely. We get a lot of Canadians that check into D-Star and all the different modes out here, so it's always fun to hear from Canada, our friends to the north, of course. And, yeah, that's the thing, too, is like one guy said, going to work in the morning and it's dark, and coming home at night it's dark. I used to do that quite a bit, too, so because I'd leave so early in the morning and come home that late at night. So, anyway, yeah. Well, you know, we're kind of, here in Southern California, we kind of spoiled, I guess, a little bit. And we try to pretend there's like 4 seasons. So everybody, you know, as soon as it gets down into the 50s or 60s, everybody dons their North Face jackets and bundles up. And my company used to be based in, or one of the, my service department, based in Watertown, Wisconsin, and they came out one time and they're like, what are you guys wearing? I never saw all these people. They're all wearing these down jackets and stuff, and this is like T-shirt weather for us back there. So it used to be kind of funny. We got to joke around about that. W6CJX for the Papa System, great outdoor net. Thank you, Max. And come back around. Sound like I said Matt. It was Mac with an X. There you go. Mad Max. We got you. Anyone else throughout a last call? Well, it's getting slowing down a little bit here. Anybody would like to do a recheck, or did I miss you on the way in tonight? Please give us a call.
Drive Golf Whiskey recheck.
All right, Steve, I'm going to let you tie the tent flap for the night. And I wanted to mention, last night on the ladies' net, we had one of the ladies come in with her call sign was a WA6 call. I don't remember the rest of it. I'm trying to remember. But it was a WA6. So if she's a true WA6, she's had her license a long time. That's pretty neat. I thought I'd pass that on to you. Go ahead, Steve, and take it.
Bob, yeah, make me feel old there. Hi. No, just a quick one. You had brought up smoke alarms as a great way to remind to check them. Last year I had my smoke alarm, actually the carbon monoxide alarm inside my trailer went off as a beeper, and I've always put a little Dymo label on mine and a reminder when I test it. Oh yeah, it needs to be rechanged or changed out in the year 2022 or whatever it was. So they do get, and when you do one of the buttons you push resets it for like another day or something, some time period. So there's time to change it without losing sleep. Hi. So I think that is probably going to be the same thing for your home smoke alarms and whatnot. That they'll be beeper at 10 years, and then it's up to you to change it out after a reasonable amount of time. Anyway, but there's a lot of varieties and a lot of manufacturers, so who knows. Anyway, thanks again for doing the net for everybody. WA6FGW.
Well, my privilege. And it's always fun to be here and find something to talk about outdoor related. And, the topics they just sort of come to me sometimes. I don't know, I'll be listening to other hams talk on the radio, and I'm like, well, that'd be a kind of nice topic for the net. And it's current things that are happening, which would be, fall and time changes. The thing you mentioned about the smoke detectors in the trailer, I know I went over there to check on our trailer one time, and I kept hearing this beep, and it was like I was working outside. And I thought, is that coming from our trailer? So I actually took the batteries out, and, I needed a new batteries, but I figured I don't want it to be beeping. And they might, management or someone might, when they come by at the storage facility. So I took them out until I could get the new batteries, and that was fine. But then I also just left them out, or left them loose, because, I left them out with the covers open, so that when we went camping, we would put them back in. I didn't really see a purpose of having a smoke detector if you're not actually in the trailer. I don't know if it would really help that much, but that was my thought. And it seems to help hold the charge on the batteries a little bit. All right, well, I'm going to say thank you to everyone that checked in with us tonight. I think we had a good round there of different things, and I lost my other crickets. I don't know what happened to those, so we'll just have to deal with these. And so I want to thank the Papa System for letting us have this great net and all the great nets that we have out there 7 days a week, basically, sometimes twice a week. Coming up this week, we do have the multi-mode net, so those of you are into multi-mode, please come by on Wednesday night, just after the New Hams net, and that'll be at 8 o'clock, and we'll see if we can get a few modes listed on there and see what kind of modes you guys can do. And thanks Cecil and the tech team, and of course all the other net controllers out here that we all, volunteer our time. And like I say, if we didn't like to do it, we wouldn't. But I like to do it. I think we all do. Okay, 7-3, have a great week ahead, and take care and be good with each other and take care of each other. That's all we got. Just us. 7-3, W6CJX, closing that at 21:23, and returning the system back to normal amateur use.